Hello, YouTube. On March 20th in the year 1968, an event occurred that was not written about in Soviet newspapers. 13 young Soviet teachers who came to Poland on vacation were buried under an avalanche during a hiking trip in the mountains. The Soviet authorities suspected sabotage, and the Poles believed that the Soviet KGB officers had arrived in the mountains on a secret mission disguised as tourists. The Karkonosze mountain range, part of the Sudeten Mountains, stretches along the borders of modern Poland and the Czech Republic. It has been a popular winter recreation center for many years, although it is less well known than the city of Zakopane at the foot of the Polish Tatras. In the spring of 1968, Soviet tourists, all young teachers, men and women from Kuibyshev, now the name is again Samara, was before the communist takeover. They arrived for rest and recreation at one of the Polish mountain bases in Karkonosze through the Sputnik Youth Tourism Bureau. It was already the 40th and the last tour group from the USSR in the 1967-1968 season, at least according to the documents, official documents. There were also guests from the GDR, East Germany, and Poland itself. On March 20th, 23 tourists and a Polish guide began walking ascent to one of the mountain peaks. There were 14 citizens of the USSR, 6 citizens of the East Germany, and 4 citizens of the Polish People's Republic in the group. At about 11 a.m., a huge avalanche descended, the largest recorded in the recent history of Poland. The people had only 48 seconds to escape, so they had no chance. Rescue operations continued until April the 5th. Only 5 people were saved, including 1 Russian. During the following days, the bodies of 19 people were dug out from under the snow. 13 citizens of the USSR, 4 Germans, and 2 Poles. Many were found by specially trained dogs from the Czechoslovak mountain rescue team, which unfortunately arrived only on the second day after the disaster. The Soviet authorities officially declared to the Polish side that there had been sabotage against Soviet citizens. You see, the so-called Prague Spring was just blossoming in neighboring Czechoslovakia, and anti-Soviet and anti-communist slogans were being actively voiced in the country. As we know, all this ended with the entry of Soviet troops into Czechoslovakia on August 21st of the same year, 1968. But Polish investigators had stated the natural causes of the avalanche, a sharp warming and a favorable terrain for snowfall. Almost immediately, rumors spread among the locals that the Soviet and East German citizens who were caught in the avalanche were no ordinary tourists. Agents of the KGB of the USSR and the Stasi of the German Democratic Republic, East Germany, allegedly arrived here undercover, and they were looking for Nazi gold hidden during the Second World War in one of the abandoned tunnels, and the Poles were allegedly deliberately not notified by the Allies who did not want to share. Someone from the Polish leadership, unhappy with the Big Brother, could have found out about the plans of the Soviet agents to search for Nazi gold and lure them into a trap. No one doubts that the natural disaster was caused by natural causes. The Poles knew about the danger of an avalanche, but deliberately did not warn the tourists from the USSR and East Germany. Moreover, on March 17, the first avalanche occurred, which hit 7 Polish skiers, but they were all safely dug out. And on the fateful day, 3 Polish families joined the foreigners on the itinerary, but their group returned to the base. The children were supposedly tired, or had someone warned them. That's the ideas that had circulated in the USSR. By the way, several Soviet tourists refused to climb along with the Poles. They, too, escaped a terrible fate. Some people say all this is nothing more than speculation. The hypothesis of the Nazi gold in Karkonosze itself has no official confirmation. And there are quite a lot of similar stories in modern Poland. A few years ago, there was information about the allegedly found golden train which the retreating Germans abandoned in 1945. Well, according to Russian media, no one had ever seen any gold, but the media all over the world were talking about the sensation. But we do not know for sure about that 1968 tragedy with the avalanche, supposedly search for Nazi gold and so forth. And most likely, we will never find out. That's what I wanted to let you know today. And I will bring you more stories about the former USSR and the Warsaw Pact. And if you like my research, please support me through the links you'll find in the description to this video. Thank you for your attention to my work.